Married with Gaming presents Frostgrave.
Hi, welcome back to Married with Gaming. I'm Jen.
I'm Mike.
And today we're going to play a game of Frostgrave.
Which is a miniatures agnostic fantasy skirmish game where you control a wizard and his merry band of warriors trying to reclaim magical treasures in this city.
Yeah, the setting is kind of cool. Like, it's a frozen city that's thawing out, right?
That's the overall thing, yeah. It's thawing out, and it was an ancient city that had a lot of magic in it, and so you basically, different scenarios, you go in,
You're trying to collect treasures.
Yeah.
Ancient magical relics
Magic
and treasures.
items.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be very easy for people who play D&D or other kind of games like that to kind of get the goal, get the gist of the goal there.
Yeah. So I've played a few skirmish, like miniature games before, but not a ton. Most of my skirmish experience comes from like D&D, just in the moment of a battle, and I haven't really. They haven't been my thing so far, because a lot of them seem like the turns take a long time, and the rules can get really bogged down, I feel like. So I don't know. I'm excited to try something new, though.
Yeah, and it's kind of reminiscent of the old Games Workshop Mordheim, which was very similar to that. I don't remember playing it much, so it's a long time ago.
So you do make characters in this game. That is you make a wizard who's like the leader of your adventuring party, and obviously the one after the treasures. So we're gonna make our characters. We're going to grab our play surface, our play mat that we made, and we're gonna grab our scatter terrain and our minis, and we will be back in a few minutes to let you know how it goes.
Okay, you want to go first and say what you made?
Sure. So I made a wizard, and you get to choose what school your wizard is from, and mine chose Enchanter, and her name is Raven, and her apprentice is Jimin, and I have several. I chose all my spells, and for my army I have a knight, a ranger, a couple of thugs, a couple of thieves, and 2 men-at-arms.
Okay, and for my army, I went with undead, because I just had a bunch of them that I was planning on painting up. And the interesting thing is, like, if you pick, it's, your miniatures agnostic, it's whatever you have. So just because I picked undead, there's no special undead abilities. That's been sometimes people complain about that, but I think I think it's a good feature. You can just use whatever. So my head wizard is Romero. His apprentice is Calwin, which is kind of a nod to somebody I used to game with. For my guys rounding out my group, I went with 2 knights, which are heavily armed. They move a little slower, but they can take more damage. Archers for the range. And then I filled it in with some really cheap, just thugs.
The nice thing was, like, I thought it was interesting. You have several different schools, I think 10 different schools of magic that you can choose to be from. And then you have magic schools that you're kind of, you have a side affinity for, I guess, that are kind of aligned to you, and some that are disaligned to you. So you choose the majority of your spells from your class, and then you can choose some from other classes as well. And I think that's neat, because it makes you feel kind of unique. Like, your wizard is not going to be like Joe's wizard over there.
Well, I stayed on theme for mine being undead. I went with necromancy, which I probably wouldn't have chosen, but I wanted to go with the theme.
Yeah, and then the stats for your wizard and your apprentice are kind of set.
Yeah, it's predetermined.
So you don't roll stats or anything like that. So it's just about how you play and your abilities, your spells you choose, things like that. So, and this book it has the option to play just as like a one-off skirmish game,
Mm-hmm.
or it has 20 different 20 different scenarios in the book. So we've decided we're gonna play just one of the scenarios, and we randomly rolled.
Yeah, we randomly rolled, and
So
we're gonna go with that and play it out and tell you how it went.
yeah.
All right. For the recap, first I'll say, you can play it. It suggests a 2x2 or 3x3. We basically just put 2 poster boards together, and that was just to define the play area a little bit better. We did take a little bit of time to craft it, paint it up, just to make it look kind of snowy. And then you take turns, you set up the terrain, and then by the rules you set up the treasure. And the scenario also adds like a goal of what to do and things that might appear. There can be wandering monsters. And it kind of has a built-in game AI, whatever attacks it, or it has a thing of how it determines what it does.
Yeah, like what the monsters do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll each time round for initiative.
Yes.
And you start with your wizard first, and then some like characters that or figures that are around him. Then you go to the apprentice, figures that are around that, and then you trade off moving any guys that are roaming on their own.
Yeah, and you could play with more than 2 players.
Oh yeah.
You're supposed to like randomize. You roll a dice to randomize what side you come in on. Of course, for ease, we just said, okay, you come in on that side, I'll come in on this side. But then you take turns placing. You roll to see who places first and all those things. So it was really fast and easy. As far as the gameplay, I think it went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
The objective from the scenario was pretty clear. So we had clear objectives from the beginning. We both lost a couple of our army in the battle.
Yeah.
But we were able to complete the objective, and because you have the play surface, when either the last objective is met or when all of the men leave the play surface, the game ends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like, and if your guy runs off the edge of the board, he's just out of the game. But because of the way the initiative, the ranges work, if you played any version of like D&D or a similar game, didn't that just come naturally of how to play?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I thought the rules were very easy. Like, there's no wacky line of sight.
There is one of sight, but it wasn't.
There is, but it's not like wacky. It's not like you have to. But if this happens, or if this happens, and if this happens, no, it's just very straightforward and easy to get. I thought the turns went really fast.
Yeah, it was after you get the first few things of like I mentioned, your wizards act, apprentices, and then the figures around them. Then it's just back forth and done.
But I really had fun playing.
Mm-hmm. And technically, I got one more treasure. I got the center treasure.
Mm-hmm. But I killed.
But my thing was I was you killed the monsters, but I was willing to. My idea was I was playing like I thought of how you'd play, even though there's no special thing. We're undead. I was playing like sacrifice them. Kind of like throw them to intercept and interference, so I could get it and run away.
Right, and we didn't. We just played this the first time, so this is our first time. But we went ahead just for the fun of it, and figured up experience, and did it as we were doing a campaign. And that was kind of one of the neat things I thought, because we each lost 2 of our army in the battle, but then you could roll to see if their wounds are permanent,
or
you see if they were able to recover,
if they survived.
And that's important, because in a campaign you actually use money to hire your army. So you don't want to spend more money if you don't have to. If you can keep the same guys on, then you don't have to spend more of your money. But you also roll for the treasures you get. You roll randomly to see what your treasure is. It could be gold. It could be a magical item. And I thought that was really fun.
Yeah. Random treasure.
Yeah.
So usually this isn't your type of game, but you do seem like you enjoyed it.
I would play it as a campaign for sure. Like, I really liked it.
Yeah, I think if I did, I would probably not play undead, because that's not really my thing. But I just did it because, again, I had miniatures. It was on theme.
Well, and knowing the game and having played it once, I would definitely do things differently too. But I think one of the things I liked about it is with a lot of the other miniatures games, I would often get overwhelmed because I do paint minis sometimes, but I'm really like a toddler. And I would get overwhelmed because everybody had these really cool armies, and I'm like, I have these unpainted guys right here. But here it doesn't matter. Like one of my guys was a Lego, so
Yeah.
it was super fun to be like, oh, just use whatever you want.
And we should include that. That was one of that one channel we watched to kind of figure out some of, to get to play, was that guy who uses just Legos.
We'll put a link.
Yeah, because that was kind of fun. He just used Legos for all his armies.
Yeah, so it was really fun. Yeah, I liked it a lot. So,
and part of it
from Jen, it gets a thumbs up.
Yeah, and I liked it as well. And I also, because I also kind of like to, craft things. So that adds another thing to do is crafting and setting up the scenarios like that.
Yeah. So that was our
Frostgrave.
Yeah, quick review of our gameplay of Frostgrave. So, have you guys played it? Let us know in the comments. What did you think of it? And I guess we'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, and please take a moment to like and sub.